I recently blew up this e-commerce brand right here to over $54,000 in revenue just from Google Ads alone in a period of 31 days. And the first major reason is because this literally goes against everything I've been saying so far, such as things like having a high AOV, such as having more than one product, that's one major product, or such as getting initial data, that too accurate data, before launching those performance max campaigns. For this brand, everything is literally exact the opposite of these three things, and yet we're able to scale this brand so successfully. But before we go into any further detail, let's go over a little bit of the background. So as I mentioned earlier, this is an e-commerce brand that sells tanning products. I'm not gonna go too in depth into that or the security of this brand, but overall, since the 1st of June, by the way, we did start working on June 1st, this brand has done roughly $276,000 in revenue. And in this recent time period, it has gone above $10,000 days. If we look a little bit before we actually began work right here for maybe April or even May, we can see that the overall results have been trending upwards, at least in this recent time period. This is when initially we began work with Google, and this time period it was when results started to come back, because this is literally exactly the time period when they stopped relying so much on Facebook. And let's now start off talking a little bit more about the brand itself. So the product that it sells, if you go on Google and just search for tanning products or tanner products, you will be able to see that brand. And I'm not going to mention exactly which brand it is we are working with, but basically this is what they sell, some kinds of specific tanning products where it lets you become fully tanned. And the countries that this brand actually targets, which we're targeting at the moment, is only the United States. So since June 2nd to July 3rd, which is the time frame we're looking at for this brand, we can see in total they've spent roughly $14,453 to make back $53,671. That's roughly a 3.71x ROAS. The break-even ROAS is around a 1.9x, 2x after they pay our fees, because this is a client under my Google Ads agency, Euro Marketing. Now, the way that they source these products is actually they have an in-house warehouse where they ship all of these products from. It's a special brand where everything is made in-house, everything is shipped in-house, only the marketing is really done out of house. They do have a few other products besides one major product, which they're just starting to add on now because of the results they're getting in terms of these major products. Now, I want to take you guys over to the landing page overall. For example, this one right here, this is a tanning mousse. If we look at the overall landing page, we can see right when we land on it, there's kind of a special design which we might not really be used to with normal Shopify stores. There's an image on the left which is in one very bold color with other images of different women, which this product seems to be for women specifically. But on the right, we see another kind of similar laid out background image, which is very similar to this one right here. Again, this is all done to speak to their ideal customer and their ideal audience. This is exactly what we're doing with the e-commerce brand we're handling as well. We're suggesting things like having a specific type of background color, a specific type of overall layout, which can relate to that individual audience. And same thing for this brand right here. At the very top, it's in the color pink, as well as in the bottom. Everything is laid out in terms of a specific audience member in mind. This is really where the success for these Google Ads campaigns started, because if we look at their overall conversion rates during this time, it's some pretty decent numbers, a 6% conversion rate, which is why we're able to scale so easily. But moving on down now to looking at further what is there on the landing page, there's some beautiful images here with very high quality kind of overall layout. At the very top, there's a regular price of buying that product one time, or there's a subscription model, which is also what the brand we're working with is starting to incorporate. Because with brands like these, and it doesn't really matter even if you have a beauty brand or not, subscription models work the best because that's a lot of recurring revenue you want to have. As we scroll down, we can see right here with the description, very direct, very straightforward. All the important things a description should have, it's there. And then there's a key fact section, which is something we are also following as well. And if we scroll down here on this website, we can see there's specific ingredients on the product itself, how it's made, how to use, pro tips, etc. At the very bottom, there's a little kind of sliding metric metric, which I think was very cool. This is something, some kinds of customizations the brand we are working with is also starting to incorporate. But if you notice, these are the extra things these brands are going above and beyond and incorporating, hence why they are so successful. There's also a video here which showcases how to apply this product. It's showing that it's trusted by Hollywood, meaning it's trying to add a little bit of authority that people, even celebrities, trust this brand. That's pretty much their description. There's nothing else going on in terms of description. Very simple, very straightforward, but it's working because right with this, they've added a lot of trust. They've added a lot of kind of security for the user who's looking at these images, who's reading through these descriptions, etc. And then there's reviews here as well. There's these little markers which tell you exactly how the product is in terms of scent, how it's in terms of color, so on and so forth, based on what other people, other customers are saying. And at the very end, just an upsells, downsells section followed by the FAQ section. Very straightforward, very simple. This is a carousel at the very end for Instagram. With their Instagram posts, they're adding directly here, and kind of a similar layout here as well, product reviews. And then at the very bottom, that's pretty much it. You just get to subscribe to their newsletter to get a certain percentage off. So with both of these landing pages, including the one we're handling, everything is direct, everything is professional, and important of all, everything is custom made. Using those generic Shopify product pages, it's not gonna cut it anymore in 2023 and onwards if you want conversion rates like these. So you need to be going a step above and beyond, especially with competitive niches like these. The only reason why we're able to almost hit a 4x ROAS in this niche despite being so competitive is because of the custom landing pages, is because now of our approach as well, which brings me to the second point of ad strategy. Going on over actually to their ad library on Facebook, of course, a lot of this important information you will not be able to see, but there's various different ad creatives running all vertical design. So what this means is they're running a lot of these ads directed towards mobile device users, towards Instagram stories. This is really the secret to their skill. They're able to keep their ads very short, very simple, very to the point, at least with Facebook ads. They do not stop on meta ads, Facebook and Instagram only, because they are taking things a bit further and having a lot of custom designed emails getting sent out constantly, especially right now, because this is one of the main seasons for this brand, believe it or not. So, you know, in terms of Google Ads strategy, here's how we kind of approached it. So prior to our entry from May 1st to May 31st even, and this brand has been running longer, but I'm just gonna focus on the time period before that, you can see that it actually spent $7,700 to make back $85,000. This is not true at all, because the conversion tracking was entirely messed up. There was a lot of double and triple tracking going on with their conversion tracking tags. As a result, every sale was getting counted 2, 3, sometimes even 4 times. And because of that, their overall results and their overall numbers that they were seeing, it was completely off. So essentially, what we had to do was we had to come in and fix up their Google Shopping conversion tracking and make that much better, which is basically what we did. Once we fixed up all of those things, then it was time for applying a strategy, because if we look at the time period before we entered, which was June 1st, we can see that during this time period, they actually only had one campaign running. That was it. There was nothing else, just one Performance Max campaign running, which was, again, leading to really unrealistic numbers. And if you're not sure if your numbers are realistic or not, just take a look at the conversion rates. If it's too good to be true, it's probably not true. And in this case, 15% conversion rates, it was out of the question, because even the website was not converting at that conversion rate. If we go on over to analytics, during June 6th to July 5th, the website was converting at a 4% conversion rate. So 16%, that's almost a 4x difference. Once we began work, we needed to establish a strategy, because with just one PMax campaign with a bunch of products put in there, even though there's only one major product, this was really not the ideal approach, because that meant you were missing out on proper display campaigns, discovery campaigns, search campaigns, even YouTube campaigns. So what we did is, when we came in, we realized that, again, the approach was very simple. It was too simple to begin with. So we wanted to, first of all, stop making the Performance Max campaign do all of these things at once. We basically came in and we stopped the assets within the PMax campaign so that we could distribute those assets across multiple different campaign types. So the campaign approach here was fairly straightforward. It was the 2-3 approach. which meant 2 performance max campaigns and 3 search campaigns. The first performance max campaign, that was the original one they had running. We just improved the conversion tracking, and brought it to real numbers. We also added another PMAX campaign, which was just recently done, which is the excluded products PMAX campaign. This is a strategy we're really finding a lot of success with, especially for those brands with lower number of SKUs and products. Just launch another campaign and put all those products which were excluded in the original campaign into this one. And then the rest of the campaigns, one was a dynamic search campaign, which right now is running at a 3.12x ROAS. The second one was a branded search campaign, which obviously is going to be the best. And then the third and final one was just a generic prospecting campaign for all of the collections, which is just one collection, but all of the collection and then all the products within that collection. And we were doing this so that we could test dynamic search campaigns versus a normal search campaign and then choose a winner from there. The approach was very simple. It was very straightforward. There was nothing too crazy going on, but during this time period, we already saw a 5% increase in the overall revenue. And in the last 7 days, we can see there has been a 34% increase with a little bit of ups and downs, but that's just the name of the game. That's kind of the overall approach we came with in terms of launching Google Ads campaigns. And this was again taken because number one, they had less than 5 products in the store, just multiple variations. And number two, they had a lot of previous data from Google Analytics. This data from their Google Ads account, it was not usable because it was not realistic. So we had to more rely on the Google Analytics data. The major difference that we did here with this approach in terms of what we normally do is we did not start with feed optimizations here. And the reason behind that is, again, we did not have any real data to work off of. There was no keyword data. There was no kind of product data, realistic product data. So what we did is we waited until this PMAX campaign was actually working properly, and then we began feed optimizations. Because there were only a handful of products here, it was fairly straightforward. All we had to do was come in here, understand which keywords are performing the best, which cold search keywords were the best, which retargeting keywords were the best, and utilize them in the back end. So what we did is we really improved the product title and made it much better. And we didn't have to do any individual keyword research because again, the PMAX campaign had all this keyword information that it could give us just during this month alone, because again, we were running it at $425 a day in terms of the budget. So we just used that to improve the product titles, descriptions, and added more information to the backend product feed via the Google Merchant Center. So this meant that we were going inside the SimProcess app, looking at all of the products, adding all of the things such as the appropriate product categories, such as adding more custom attributes, such as adding more detailed product characteristics, basically whatever we could add, because again, this was a real brand. They had a lot of relevant information, and this is what really helped us push this brand all the way to the top 3 listings with Google Ads without bidding more. I mean, if we look at their bids overall for these products, it's less than $1 for a very competitive niche. In most cases, for skincare brands or cosmetic brands, this is way above $1. And even if the CPC is to be lowered, even in many situations, it's not profitable because Google is unable to find the right audience that converts. But we were able to do this simply because of all the feed optimizations we did, the right approach we took in terms of the strategy. But again, the real reason why this brand was so successful was not only because of Google Ads, but they also had traffic coming in from other platforms. They were able to use this traffic to understand the data and make their website better, hence the higher conversion rates. But also we were able to use that data ourselves for the Google Ads side of things and launch a strategy which would be ideal for this brand, as well as focus on the conversion rates while doing feed optimization. So a proper strategy with Google, like for a competitive brand like this, might be your brand as well, is a very broad approach from all sides and angles. But again, if you're doing $40,000 or more per month in revenue, you need just a little bit of extra help scaling your brand to the next level. Go onto my website at yourmarketing.com and book a free call with me to see how we can potentially work together and make that happen. But I want you to watch this video right here on how to hack the Google Ads algorithm to get it on your side so you can get results like these.